Welcome to another InWheelTime podcast. From Studio A.
Hey.
In Texas, USA. It's the only place to go for all things automotive, the award-winning InWheelTime car talk show. Just ahead, we head to Consumer Reports and their top picks on new and used cars.
These are good. These are always fun.
Later, Jeff has the racing calendar, Mars has This Week in Auto History, and I'll get you caught up on the stories making automotive news headlines. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars. We always need more Jeff Zekin. Chief Engineer David Ainsley. I'm Don Armstrong. Thanks so much for joining us on this special edition. It's special because
we're special.
It's a very special thing, and yes, we are. In our own minds.
Yeah.
We don't know why, but we just made it all up. Let's talk to Alex.
Okay.
Alex, is your last name pronounced Knizek?
Oh, he's muted.
He's smiling, but he, for some reason, can you hear us, Alex?
I did unmute. I can hear you.
Okay, very good. Is it Alex Knizek?
It's Knizek.
Knizek.
Okay.
Well, of course it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry.
Okay, you can hear me now.
Yes, we can.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, where are you located? You up in Connecticut?
I am. Yep. Colchester right now. I'm sitting in one of the offices outside of our test track.
Very nice. And you know, I just started getting my copies of Consumer Reports magazine, and in it shows the test track diagram, which is basically the one there behind you. And I'm going, wow, This is really impressive. Do you get to drive on the test track?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was out there earlier.
Were you?
It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how fast can you get a hot rod car up on that thing?
Oh gosh. I mean, at the end of the straightaway, somewhere down here, a little bit below the screen, I mean, certainly over 100 miles an hour. You know, if it's a C8 Corvette, 120 is pretty easy to hit.
Nice. Well, what a sweet job you got. How did you get that job? I want to know.
Well, I guess if my education is some part of it, I'd got a background in mechanical engineering and automotive engineering, and worked at Ford for a little while. And I don't know, but beyond that, just passionate about cars for my entire life.
Well, let me just say that is very impressive. Yeah, and you're a young man, and how lucky are you? I mean, what a great job coming out of school and going to work for Ford, and then going to work for Consumer Reports. I mean, you got the best of both worlds, my friend. You get to drive all the cars now, not just Fords.
I know it is really cool to be on the testing side, right? Because you're working at Ford or one of these automotive companies, and you get very knowledgeable about their products, but you don't always get to be so hands-on with all the competitors. So yeah, now I get to really experience the whole market, or at least most of it, which is pretty awesome.
So let's talk about the top new and used car picks for 2025. So where do you want to start? Used or new?
I think new. That's, our used listing gets kind of updated pretty frequently, just because used car prices change very often, right?
Sure.
But new cars, I think, is the exciting one for,
all right.
Yearly. Yeah.
Very good. Well, let's start with whatever you want to start with on the new side.
Sure. Well, I think, just quickly, it would be maybe helpful to just talk about how we pick these things in the first place, right? So there's really 4 components that go into it. If anyone's not familiar with CR, we buy all these cars and we put them through our testing. So we're an independent nonprofit organization, so a little different than press cars and whatnot. So we're buying them all. We're putting them through about 50 different tests at the track behind me here. So that's really the base of it. All these cars have to be really top performers when it comes to our road tests. And then beyond that, we're incorporating the feedback and information that we get from our member surveys. So we're looking at reliability, owner satisfaction, 2 really big ones. And then the last one is safety. We just make sure that, at least at a very bare minimum, all of these cars on this list have standard automatic emergency braking. A lot of them have a lot more than, but that's kind of the minimum.
Do they all go into the same soup as, sedans, coupes, SUVs, trucks? Do they all just go into one group like that?
As far as testing goes and scoring?
Yes, it's coming up with the top new cars, trucks.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, we have slightly different criteria truck or something like that, right? They serve different needs, but period.
What are we going to do, Mike?
We're going to go back to the shot.
Categories on it.
Okay, well, we're having some technical issues receiving your video and your audio. And so we're going to pause you for just a minute while Mr. Mars works on that.
Okay.
All right, what are we going to do, Mr. Mars?
I want just Ethernet right there. Never mind. Go ahead.
All right. So Mr. Mars is working on our end to get you situated here. In the meantime, I was going to say that. So I got my first couple of issues of Consumer Reports, and I don't care what you say, they go through all sorts of things to test these deals. As a matter of fact, I gave you a copy where they went through the appliances because I knew that you guys just bought some new appliances at your house.
And Kathy used the book. She did some research through that and got some answers that she was looking for. So it worked out. And
in this particular issue that I just got last week, it's got a whole automotive section in there. And of course, I'm reading it word for word about absorbing everything that I can in there. All right.
Well, so my question is, how many? Obviously, you're involved in the car segment of it. There's other Consumer Report divisions. How many other divisions are there? Like appliances, there's cars, I'm sure there's furniture or something. How many are there?
I actually don't know the exact number, to be honest with you, but we have a lot of different areas. Appliances and kind of the home side of things is one of the other big areas, right? There's kind of three large things: automotive, home, which is appliances and whatnot that we're talking about, and then we have the babies side where it's like car seats and that sort of thing. So now I think one kind of misconception is that the people testing the cars are also testing the dishwashers, but that's not true. I don't know anything about dishwashers. We're strictly cars up in Connecticut.
Well, and we're glad that we have you on the show then. We've obviously hit you up at the right time of your life. So let's get through these while we have you here momentarily. Sure. Top new car picks. What are they?
Yeah, so again, a lot of different categories, and a lot of them trying to focus on something that's not so expensive. So starting at kind of the bottom of the list is the Nissan Sentra for our small car category.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a surprise, but it really just represents a good value, right? It has the standard safety features I mentioned. It does well in our testing, especially for the class. It drives pretty well. It's relatively quiet. We see pretty good reliability. And you can get one that's well equipped for about $25,000, where, if people are paying on average $4,000 for a car these days, getting something brand new for $25,000, that's going to be pretty good. I think is a good deal.
Okay. What's next on the list?
Next we have the next two, I think, are similar but different sizes, right? The Subaru Crosstrek and the Subaru Forester. Both of these cars recently redesigned, but between you and I, we could probably agree they might be a heavy refresh, carrying over a lot of the powertrain components and underlying structure of these cars. But for them, it's working out because those cars did well in our testing before. They continue to do well. They're pretty straightforward. They're practical, reliable, good fuel economy. Just some of these cars are, we're in a world where there's so many touchscreen controls and complications and all these features and whatnot, and these cars are pretty simple and straightforward, and so they work for a lot of people.
Well, Subaru's hot right now across the board.
Yeah, and just dynamically, I think I'm always, and we collectively here at CR, are impressed at what Subaru does in terms of ride quality for the price. Especially the Forester, it just soaks up bumps really nice, and a lot of cars don't do that necessarily these days.
I agree with you there.
Yeah. So next, the Toyota Camry. I think the big news here, and the Toyota Camry's certainly been on our list before, but the fact that it's hybrid only now for 2025. But you know what? I think Toyota and others too have gotten so good at hybrids that, other than the fact that you're getting 48 miles per gallon in this car, you probably wouldn't even know it's really a hybrid, right? It looks like a normal car. It drives for the most part like a normal car. Doesn't do anything weird. So it's just very refined. They've gotten good at hybrids over time. And another car that, like those Subarus, has recently got redesigned, but it really just sticks to the Camry mission. And I'll be honest, I was surprised at how well it drives. I wouldn't call it sporty, but it's refreshing to get into a sedan these days. You're lower to the ground, and it just drives pretty well.
Well, let's face it. When it comes to hybrids, you can't beat the Toyota Prius when they kind of invented the whole segment. And they've been doing it for a long time.
It's interesting too with the Prius the Camry is so good and gets such good fuel economy at this point. The Prius starts to seem
old school,
unnecessary.
Yeah, it does. Okay, what's next on the list?
Ford Maverick for our pickup truck.
Really?
Wow.
That does not it does not surprise me, because I know when I had the Maverick not too long ago, I was impressed and I thought, is it just me, or is this really a nice vehicle? I thought it really is.
I mean, it really is, especially for the price. It also really just stands out. Who else is making a kind of unibody-based pickup truck like this that is super functional, but also has that hybrid option? I mean, it really stands alone. And one of our biggest, I guess I'll say a complaint of it before was that you couldn't get all-wheel drive with the hybrid. And now for 2025, they've fixed that issue. So you can get a hybrid all-wheel drive, and I mean, that really just hits the sweet spot right there.
Is it a full-time
really cool
all-wheel
truck.
drive system?
It is, I believe. Yeah, I believe there's a mechanical connection going to the back. I mean, probably a clutch back in the back. It's not quite Subaru, but they're not relying on an electric motor back there.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Like Toyota does.
Sure. What's next?
Speaking of Toyota, a couple others on here. RAV4 plug-in hybrid, the PHEV specifically. So it used to be called the Prime. Now they just call it the plug-in hybrid. But just a really sweet version of the RAV4. It's pretty quick. If you guys have driven this car, it has a lot of power for a compact crossover. But again, just in the spirit of trying to offer people different options, getting a plug-in hybrid on the list. This one in particular offers pretty good range for an EV, on the EV side of things, over 40 miles. And after that, you pretty much end up with a pretty solid RAV4 hybrid once that battery charges up. So it just functions well, and then has that Toyota reliability behind it.
Yep.
Similar with the Highlander hybrid. Not too many hybrid options for a 3-row SUV. And you get that reliability. This has been on the list before. No big changes really for it this year, but continues to perform well.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Highlander. I'm not. It's just something that doesn't really jive with me.
They've made it too big now. Yeah, I think that it hit the sweet spot back when it was the original.
Well, I am interested to see where it goes from here, because with the Grand Highlander, they're really splitting hairs, right? So I do wonder if maybe the next Highlander, if there is one, will change direction a little bit. I don't know. We'll see.
So that reminds me of the Wagoneer, Grand Wagoneer, what they're doing with that. Now it's a Grand Wagoneer. So
exactly. Well, let's move on to the short list, because we're running out of time here. How about the used car selections for this week?
So we've got a Mazda 6 on here, 2016, for our pick under $10,000. And all of these used selections have to fit pretty similar criteria to the new ones. A little different, of course, because these cars are older, but meeting a standard list of safety features and our road testing and reliability. So a lot of these cars end up representing a really good value because they've depreciated a little bit more than their direct competitors while still meeting those criteria. So Mazda 6, you could imagine most people going out for a used Camry. Mazda 6 kind of goes under the radar a little bit, but ultimately still a really good car. About 30 miles per gallon, that type of thing. So just a solid mid-size sedan there.
Sure.
After that, the Toyota Corolla, probably not a huge surprise, 2018. So this is in the prior generation, 2014 to 2019. And of course, you're going to get that pretty rock solid Toyota reliability with this thing.
Yep.
And we see them priced in between $12,000 to $15,000. So it's kind of coming in that under $15,000 price there. After that, we got the 2016 CRV, just the regular one, not the hybrid one here, but high owner satisfaction, high reliability, pretty good road test score on that one. So that's our SUV under $15,000. And then getting a little bit more into higher price cars, hybrid under $20,000, the Toyota Camry hybrid.
Right.
Oh, he froze up.
The appeal went up a little bit. After that, we've got the Kia Sportage, so our small SUV under $20,000. This is a 2021, which I kind of like this one because it's towards the end of the generation for that Sportage, so it was like right before the new one came out, basically. And what's good about that is we generally see just the trend is that as these vehicles age throughout their generation, they tend to get more reliable at the end. So if you can get a good deal on a model that is kind of at the end of that generation's run,
Sure.
it can often work out.
And I agree with you 100% there. Yeah.
I mean, we hear it from the automakers directly all the time that they, as you guys know, they are working on refinements both on the manufacturing side, the design side, and that all comes together. Towards the end here, we've got hybrid SUV under 20,000, Toyota RAV4. This is, again, the previous generation RAV4, 2016 to 2018. So you can get a 2018 kind of coming in right under that $20,000 mark, get, into the 30 miles per gallon area with something like that, which is pretty awesome. Kind of like the Mazda 6, the next one, the Mazda CX-9 is one of those under the radar choices, right? We know 3-row SUVs are pretty hot right now as far as a segment, right? People are going after those, the reason the Grand Highlander exists. So one that kind of goes forgotten, but is reliable, tests well in our program, and people tend to like. So it's that 2016 to 2023 CX-9. And yeah, a couple others on the list. I think I'll skip ahead a little bit, but the Mazda Miata is on a list of ours somewhere almost all the time. It's a great car. So 2019 you can get.
I was just going to say that is almost a no-brainer these days. I mean, it certainly has proven itself from the day that it rolled off the first one on the factory and to today. What a great vehicle and for a decent price and a lot of fun.
For sure. Yeah, and they keep making refinements, and it's nice to see. I mean, you can get a 2019 specifically under 20,000. So that was after they kind of bumped the horsepower up in 2018 and made some other changes, so you can kind of get that the refreshed version.
And hey,
so to speak,
if worse comes to worse,
20,000.
you could always get it on the track and go to some SCCA event on the weekend after you've driven to work back and forth to work all week. Yeah, dual purpose buy.
There you go.
Exactly.
Well, Alex, it's great to talk to you. We thank you so much for taking the time for us today with the new and used top vehicle picks 2025 for Consumer Reports. Again, great to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Likewise. One more thing before I go. We do have cr.org/car/InWheelTime, and that gets you, if you go to that link, you'll get $10 off a CR subscription.
I wish that I would have done that.
We are a promo code.
I know, we got our own promo code.
Thank you.
Alex, we love it. Where did you go to college?
I went to Western New England in Springfield, and then I went to Clemson after that.
Look at you. You go, boy. We love it. It's great to talk to you, my friend. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Appreciate your knowledge.
All right, take care, guys.
You do the same. Alex Knizek with
What a guy.
Consumer Reports. Just ahead, Jeff has the racing calendar. Mars has This Week in Auto History and this week's automotive news headlines, all coming up on the InWheelTime Car Talk Show. Back in a flash. The Tex-Mex dining experience is defined by Lupi Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Lupi Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Lupi Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in West Houston. Visit any of the Lupi Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location. Start your Lupi experience with queso flamiado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous Lupi beef and chicken fajitas, or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Lupi Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Lupi Tortilla, he's pretty good. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. You're going to the Hot Rod Tour of Texas?
I am.
Be sure and follow the InWheelTime team as we join over 300 other enthusiasts beginning April 24th as we trek across Texas. Get the info link at InWheelTime.com and our InWheelTime Facebook page.
I wonder if
Okay,
there's any
time
spots
now
left.
for the racing calendar sponsored
yeah.
by the Texas Muscle Car Club Challenge. Jeff?
Thank you for that. Now, guess what's happening this weekend? Started yesterday. NHRA season started for 2025. They are this week at the Gator Nationals at the Gainesville Raceway. Been there. Now, I don't know what channel it's on. It's either on FS1
FS2.
or FS2. So there you go. You can tune into that. NASCAR is in Phoenix. So that's going on Sunday. That's the big boys. The Xfinity guys, the smaller group, is on. That's tomorrow in Phoenix. And then you got the Craftsman trucks are going next week to Las Vegas. So that's pretty cool for them. And then next week also you got the 12 hours of Sebring. So that's going to be fun as well. So tune into all that racing. It's coming up.
Okay. Time now for This Week in Auto History, Mr. Mars.
Yeah, we got several different stories here that I found were very interesting and learned some new stuff. For example, on March 2nd, 1933, Ford introduces their V8, flathead V8, over to Europe. Now,
What year was that?
1933. Don't you remember? You were on that boat.
I was.
And so, and what it did, it so outpowered, it was so much more powerful than what they had with the engines they'd been using that it really made a change in that entire industry over in the European cars because they started building bigger, more powerful cars. Now, in 1931, the American Automobile Association published the first nationwide highway map. And this is really significant because it became a crucial tool for the expanding era of automobile travel. As the highways connected cities and states, you had to figure out how to get there from where to here. And therefore, the map detailed the major routes that promoted safer, more efficient long-distance travel.
Was there a reason that you picked southern New England to have for the video?
I did, because this was a map in 1920, something like that. But
9.
Yeah, and it shows just how crowded things were. If you were an individual trying to figure out how to get across there, it was just a nice blown up to see how the maps and the roads were. If you didn't have a map and didn't know where you were going,
You were screwed.
You were. Plus, you didn't have anything to collect and put in the back seat whenever you stopped the service
Well,
station.
not only that, but you probably had to go and get another set of glasses because you can't read the dang map. It's so small.
That's what people were dealing with. So
Next week is gonna
the
be
map really made a big change in the way that we were able to travel. Now,
The invention of the magnifying glass.
yes, this next one, in 1997, Toyota began the production of the Prius. Now, this is the first mass-produced hybrid car, and it really changed the way things were done in the industry as far as creating the hybrids. They still make this thing. It became a symbol
Not
of
that particular
No.
one.
But it became a symbol of sustainable driving, influencing automotive industry shift towards hybrid and electric vehicles, making things energy-efficient transportation. And the first generation Prius was the first mass-produced hybrid vehicle. Now, the 1969 Pontiac introduced the Trans Am. Mm-hmm. Now, this was a high-performance version of the Firebird designed for both street and track use. Now, it was named after the Trans-American Racing Series, had a Ram Air 400 V8s, upgraded suspension, several aerodynamic enhancements, and it was produced in limited numbers, but it was basically go racing on the weekend and sell cars on Monday type of thing. Now, another vehicle that made a significant impact on automotive history, 1936, the Volkswagen Beetle is approved for production. Now, this is Adolf Hitler did the approval on this project because he envisioned an affordable people's car, and that was designed by Ferdinand Porsche. The Beetle was a rear-mounted air-cooled engine.
Ferdinand Porsche.
And one of the things it was designed for, that he wanted a vehicle that everybody could afford, 2 adults, 3 children. Now, this vehicle started being built in 1935, And they built it the same Type 1, basically same platform till 2003, 21.5
Don't you know
million cars.
That car right there, that Volkswagen Beetle, ticked off Henry Ford like no tomorrow?
Oh, you got to know it. I mean, but some, like I say, it was because of the size and what they were after. And I thought, 2 adults and 3 kids? Well, almost 100 years ago, people were smaller. So it made a little more sense, particularly over in the European where the roads are narrow and stuff, to do this.
I resemble that, Amar.
And it was supposed to get, one of the criteria was 33.6 miles to the gallon, which was unheard of back in 1933.
I'll be darned.
So that was just some of the stories this week in automotive history that I thought were rather interesting.
Well, they are very interesting, and I thank you very much for sharing those with us. What's next week's lesson?
Next week is the important things that happen between now and then.
That was a good answer,
That
Mars.
was good, Michael.
That was direct from
Yep.
Meterville. All right. Couple of stories here. Cadillac
Yes.
preparing to launch a roomier version of the Escalade.
Yeah.
Offering extra space for people, bigger people,
Roomier?
and for cargo, about $2,700 more for this car. General Motors luxury brand on March 5th revealed the 2026 Cadillac Escalade IQL, a nameplate it confirmed a year ago and the counterpart to the gasoline-powered Escalade ESV. Production of the Escalade IQL will begin around June, July, August, somewhere in
So
there.
that's when they're transitioning it?
They're transitioning, yes. Now, I think this is an added bonus. The vehicle will be sold globally. God. And come in 4 trims, luxury sport, premium luxury, and premium sport. Pricing started at $132,695. Here, take this. They may give you a couple dollars off. on
there
it.
you go.
It's an expensive transition.
It is a transition that's very expensive. I think most of them are, from what I've heard. I don't know. For potential car buyers today, vehicle price is a key focus, according to Betty Jatanovic, president of auto relationships at Santander Consumer. Auto lender Santander surveyed roughly 2,200 Americans making between $50,000 and $148,000 a year in December for the lender's quarterly Paths to Prosperity study. According to the survey, 52% of middle-income Americans delayed purchasing a vehicle in the past year because of the cost. Nearly half of middle-income Americans, however, are considering purchasing a vehicle this year and are taking initial steps to prepare, according to Mrs. Javatnik. Is that the way I said it? Javatnik?
Close.
Betty.
Betty.
With Santander.
It's Martha's sister.
Martha?
Martha?
Martha Santander.
Martha Santander.
Martha
It's her sister.
Javatnik.
Yep.
All right. We're going to wrap up today's show right
Carlos.
after a quick break here on the InWheelTime Car Talk Show.
Pro-Am Auto Accessories has been serving Houston's auto enthusiasts since 1984, providing world-class products for sports cars, European sedans, and American muscle. Pro-Am is known as the place to go to find exclusive and hard-to-find parts and accessories. Pro-Am is one of the very first distributors in the USA for brands such as Recaro, Redline, Momo, Corbo, and Simpson. Located in the heart of Houston's premier retail and service corridor, the Galleria area, Pro-Am's walk-in storefront includes an 8,000-square-foot warehouse, showroom, and installation bays. Pro-Am not only sells parts and accessories, but also offers installation and service. Pro-Am is now reaching a worldwide audience through Pro-Am.com, taking its local reputation to the rest of the world. At Pro-Am Auto, you'll be dealing with a small group of professionals who truly want to help you with your automotive needs. If you don't see what you're looking for on the website, call and Pro-Am will lend you a hand. Pro-Am Auto, 6125 Richmond at Green Ridge in Houston's Galleria area. Call them at 713-781-7755. It's time for the 47th Annual Corvette Chevy Expo in Galveston, Saturday and Sunday, March 15th and 16th at the Galveston Island Convention Center. This premier indoor event features iconic Chevrolets, from classic Camaros to America's sports car Corvette. See over 135 displays, automotive vendors, and unique finds at the expansive swap meet. You'll also see the all-handmade Galveston Craft Show, featuring over 100 local artisans. Be part of this Chevy celebration, March 15th and 16th. For tickets, visit CorvetteChevyExpo.com.
Well, that's all for this week's InWheelTime Car Talk Show. Be sure to check us out online at InWheelTime.com. We're always looking for new and fun automotive things. If you have an idea, let us know. Our email address is info@InWheelTime.com. When you're looking for award-winning car talk, you can always find the InWheelTime Car Talk Show 24/7 on the InWheelTime app. If you're on the road, grab a podcast anytime from your favorite podcast provider, including the new SiriusXM podcast channel. And be sure and catch us on the Odyssey radio app. We video stream our live show every Saturday, 10 to noon on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. The InWheelTime video technical director is we always need more Jeff Zekin for booking agent, video editor, and people finder Mike Out of This World, Mars, and chief engineer David Ainsley. I'm Don Armstrong. Today, the Hot Rod Tour of Texas starts April 24th in Victoria. We hope you'll join us, or at least tune in. Details and links at InWheelTime.com. Be safe out there. Have a great week, and thanks again for tuning in to In Wheel Time. That's it for this podcast episode of the InWheelTime Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.